So today the topic is trademarks, copyrights, and patents on Amazon. So navigating trademarks and patents on Amazon. So kind of like best practices and whatnot. And the thing is that Amazon takes intellectual property very seriously, which is a good thing. If you create something, it doesn't matter if it's like a piece of paper or text, do a drawing or whatever. I mean, it's actually something that you have a right to. Amazon doesn't want to deal with any kind of legal hassle. So usually when there's like IP issues, then usually they shoot first and ask questions later. And that's also cases where they can do this kind of like account level suspension. Like if they see that, I mean, you are having trademark issues with like your products or whatever, then it can happen that they create this suspension until you like figure out all the issues, all the IP issues that you're having with. So let's just dig into it. What it takes to sell on Amazon, it takes to start an Amazon business. So what was this survey, Barney?
This is actually conducted by Jungle Scout. So this is the recent survey that they did for 2024. And this is with all the respondents coming from sellers.
But what is the point?
Okay, so I want to share with everyone, like, just FYI, or did you know that like time it takes to start on business at Amazon. So almost three quarters, at least 74% of sellers and brands have been able to get their Amazon business up and running in less than 6 months. So it's possible, especially with the others who are practicing the lower low budget. So it's really possible, not just for the one that we are practicing, but for other sellers. First time sellers doing Amazon business. It's possible to do it fewer than 6 weeks.
Yeah, and the key thing here is that you don't want to be like everyone else. You don't want to take that 6 months like majority of people are doing. So instead, I mean, you want to take a product live as quickly as possible. So it is possible to do it in a matter of weeks instead of months, right? And the key thing to being successful in this business model is really having the ability to launch products quickly. So if you just master that one skill, then oh my God, you will be able to go so far, and you have huge competitive advantage against everyone else if your kind of like number one skill mastery is that you are able to take ideas to first sale. I mean, in super fast time. So anyway, back to this trademarks, copyrights, patents, how to effectively resolve all these kind of issues. So Ronnie is especially used to dealing with all sorts of IP issues that we have on our accounts. And so she's actually the best person to explain about this, then having different tips and tricks. So anyway, so what is a trademark? So trademarks basically identify products with recognizable signs. So it can have different brand elements, names, logos, slogans. And on Amazon, it means that it just helps us sellers to protect this intellectual property that we have. And it also helps us to fight any kind of counterfeit. So meaning that when we get because previously, I mean, it used to be actually a much bigger issue than nowadays. Was that, I mean, you got your product listing live and you've been selling it and everything goes amazing, then you start getting some visitors to your uninvited visitors to your product listing. And what are they doing? They are selling my product, and they are trying to sell the same product, but hey man, it's my brand. You're not selling the exact same product. So that used to be much bigger of an issue like previous, but nowadays, I mean, with brand register and everything, I mean, it's actually huge help in dealing with those. So Amazon prioritizes IP, and that's a good thing. So registered trademarks allow this Amazon brand register enrollment. And the thing is that you don't need to have, it doesn't need to be active. When you do it, there's a certain process that you can get access to this brand registry already in a matter of weeks instead of waiting like 6 months like it used to take. Like first you had to file a trademark application, then it takes 6 months for it to be processed, and maybe 1 year later, the trademark is approved. And brand registry offers different tools like EBC, so enhanced brand content. So the thing here is that when you're launching products, it is absolutely essential that you don't infringe the IP of other sellers. And of course, sometimes it can be a bit tricky because sometimes it can happen like what we just did with one of our products that we actually filed a trademark for the search term, which is crazy. Like, what are you talking about? You filing a trademark for search term? Well, yeah, because the search term, we made the search term as the name of our product, and then we just made the application, and it was actually approved. So now we actually have kind of like exclusivity for this search term, and we can pretty much like kick out anyone else who is using it. So sometimes it can be really tricky to know that, okay, is this certain word or is this certain aspect violating anyone's IP? So that means that then you need to do a bit of a research. And you can use different tools to do this, and also sometimes it kind of depends on what kind of case it is, but sometimes things can get pretty complex, especially like, let's say that you're dealing with abandoned trademarks, meaning that the company just didn't renew, or the rights owner just didn't renew the application. So which means that eventually it's going to be abandoned. So then in those cases, it makes sense to actually use like different legal consultation. Then absolutely having your own trademark for having this stronger protection for the brand. What about patent? What is it? So it's usually when it comes to having different products, so it gives exclusive rights to the inventor, so novel inventions, designs, processes, and yeah, obviously we need to respect all patents that there might be. But by the way, just a heads up that it's not uncommon at all that there's a bit of like unethical players in the game, because we have, I think it's already like last time, it's like last year we got this kind of like warning from some lawyer or someone pretending to be a lawyer, whichever was the case, that hey, first the listing actually got shut down, and then we started like investigating what it is, and it was basically just some kind of lawyer asking that, hey, you need to stop selling this, and you are violating my IP and blah 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 blah. And of course, like you need to take those things seriously. So we also started like looking into it. But anyway, in the end, it was just like a blackmail attempt, and there was no validity about in the whole thing. So it's kind of important to keep in mind that there are also these kind of like unethical players in this game. So you need to do a bit of research. Like if someone is claiming that you are violating their IP, then it actually makes sense to do the effort, put in the effort to actually make sure that is it accurate or not. So patent compliance, conducting this kind of research to avoiding these infringements, and absolutely consulting different patent attorneys for legal insights. But let's keep it real. Like if you're just starting out, and if it makes sense that you focus on speed. You focus on things that actually matter. So it's the first thing that okay, you're gonna be like talking with some lawyer to develop this completely unique product and doing a patent and everything. I mean, that's definitely not the thing to do first. So main thing to always, like when starting a business, the main thing in the beginning is sales, cash flow. Because if you don't have cash flow, then just forget everything else. So number one thing when starting a business um, is to start generating sales, start generating cash as quickly as possible. And it's usually in the same thing even for the first years, absolutely for the first year, and usually for the second year as well. So number one thing should be just focusing on getting as much cash flow, doing as much revenue and profit as possible. Because cash is really the oxygen, and we might have some fantastic ideas. Yeah, we're gonna develop this amazing product. It's gonna take over the world, but fine, that sounds like a amazing idea, but most ideas just fail into execution, and execution is really the thing that matters. And in order to mitigate this risk that you're not wasting time or money, then start generating the cash flow first, because then you also build the safety net that you have at least something that's already working before moving to other things. So especially, like, let's say that you have been already selling for years and you already have something that's working, you already have the cash flow and everything, then cool, that's great. I mean, then it can make sense that you're like pursuing patents for unique products and so on. But also another thing to keep in mind is that so many people ask me is that yeah, they have this amazing new product idea, like it's not on the market yet, but I'm sure that everyone will love it because I will just do such a like amazing job in terms of meeting the needs of the customers and so on. Okay, fine, that sounds fantastic, but what's the demand today? Well, I mean, there's no proven demand, but I'm sure it's the demand is there if you create it. Well, yeah, need I say more? So main thing is really like validate the demand, validate the products, because the path of a pioneer is never easy. So if you actually are going to launch something new, something completely new that's not in the market yet, then you actually have to spend money in educating the audience about your product, and that's costly and it also takes time, and it can easily take years and years before the product becomes a success, if ever. I mean, it just might be that, I mean, sure, it's a great idea and everything, but the people are not just willing to pay for it at this point. So maybe it might be different after 5 years or 10 years, but not today. They are not ready to do that. So that's a super common mistake, that people have these assumptions that no, my product is just different. It's going to be just amazing. But why would you take the risk that it's not something that people actually want, right? All right. So this is what is this website here? So it's about patent search.
Yeah, this is to educate the rest, like, to learn more about it. Kindly visit this link. It explains further how to, what is patent, how can you address it, or how can you file for one. They have like good presentation there. So yeah, just for your information.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Copyright. What is a copyright, Barney? Maybe you can answer.
Yeah, so a copyright, it protects the original creative works like photos, especially like in Amazon. Right now, if you're in brand registry, you can definitely report another seller if they are, using your images. You can report that. At least we did that, and they accept it. So it is very important in Amazon that you are very careful in not copying others' work. Because if they have like brand registry, they can definitely report you. So it protects the descriptions, videos, and especially the brand logos. So if you have, like for example, for a new seller, if you are selling a product that you did not really like update just out of the shelf, make sure that your packaging doesn't have your competitor's logo there.
Yes, and actually, this is kind of like crazy story. I know one seller had um, they had ordered the product photos from it was probably from a site like Upwork or whatever. Like they were using a freelancer, and the freelancer wasn't really, let's say, professional, so he didn't have the rights to use those images that he decided to use in the product photos that he made. So in the end, actually, the seller was approached by the rights owner that, hey, what are you doing? How dare you use this photo of this and that? I mean, you need to take it down. So that's also another thing to take into consideration. Like when you're working with freelancers, when you're working with designers, make sure that they are actually using like stock photos and material that they have rights to. And the same thing with this presentation. Like Barney, you made this, so I hope you
Yes.
took the images from a
Yes, all of
reputable place,
it.
right?
They're all
Yeah.
legal. So
Cool. Yes. So that's always something to keep in mind. And by the way, I mean, these tools in the brand registry, like nowadays, from a rights owner's perspective, I mean, it's great because, I mean, I was personally doing some of these complaints about the keyword thing that I mentioned. I mean, it's super easy. I just like select all these different, select my trademark there, which was this keyword. Then I just selected that, okay, these and these listings are violating my keyword. So, I mean, I added a bit of information and then submitted, and boom, that's pretty much it. So it was super easy to deal with. So, yeah, I mean, we absolutely need to take these things seriously. So use only original or licensed content to avoid any kind of like copyright issues. And one thing to keep in mind is that, well, especially if you're like dealing with places like Alibaba, like who has ever seen their own images inside of Alibaba? Has anyone ever seen that? Their own product listing images that you have done on Amazon that, oops, suddenly they are used on Alibaba by all these different sellers. Has anyone ever experienced that?
No, but they say imitation is the highest form of flattery, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I remember like first time it happened to us, like we were, uh, I mean, Victor had done those product images, and he was doing like this lifestyle images, and he actually just he used his own family for the to make those images and everything. And then one day he noticed that, oh, his daughter is all over Alibaba. So people steal images. So another thing to keep in mind is that, like, if the supplier gives you some images, I mean, it might be that those are, and it's very likely that they don't have the rights to use it. So they just took it from somewhere, probably usually from Amazon. So just you just take into consideration that, I mean, they might not actually have the rights for those photos. Okay, then let's talk about Amazon's policies on intellectual property. So, I mean, Barney, what are the latest IP policy for different guidelines? And this is something also to take into consideration that, you know, Amazon is ever changing, and also like their terms and guidelines, I mean, they change pretty often as well, but I think in terms of like IP, it hasn't changed that much through the years, or has it, Barney?
Not really that much. However, they are really very serious. It's what you have mentioned earlier that they don't really investigate. They just deactivate your account or deactivate your listing right away before they, do investigation and before you defend yourself. So that's why I'm always like reminding, especially now that some have experienced IP violation, even if they haven't really violated anything, just to make sure that you go through the images, you go through your product, you do the patent research, you do the trademark research, because at the end of the day, Amazon will just deactivate your account or deactivate your listing just because someone complained. And it's very easy to complain about something on your listing if they have like the registration number for it, and they will just visit Amazon Amazon report infringement website. It's very easy to do that, especially if they have brand registry. It's so easy to do that. So it's always advisable to do your research. And if they, you receive something, do your research, be calm about it. And if it's only like a trademark, like words, just update your listing. Update your listing, use that file, or go to the back end, delete it, and then wait for, let's say, 15 minutes or in 24 hours, and then tell Amazon that, hey, it was a mistake, and check my listing, it doesn't have any. So that's the time that they will activate your listing.
Yes, and one thing also to keep in mind is that let's say that you get warning for using certain keywords or whatever. I mean, you should immediately remove those, right? But it might actually sometimes happen that you deleted those from Seller Central, but the change didn't go through.
Yeah.
So why is that usually? Do you know, Barney?
Maybe you have like multiple ASINs. That could happen. So what you can do is you update it using that file.
But let's say that it's just one product listing, one ASIN. So, and you're doing changes in the back end, but I mean removing these delete keywords, but it's not reflecting on the front side.
Oh, that happens sometimes. Like you can just give it maybe 24 hours and then contact Amazon that, hey, I'm trying to delete this and it's not deleting at all. So can you help me with that? They are, especially with Amazon account health specialist, they can help you with that. So just, you need to contact them and ask for that. If not, then sorry.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, if not, maybe someone is doing black hat tactic on your listing. So you just need to contact Amazon and then ask them to help you with it. Amazon support can also help you with that, updating your listing from the back end.
Yes, and one thing to take into consideration that it's not necessarily even black hat. Like let's say that you have brand registry and everything, but the changes that like you get this warning, but you're not able to remove that keyword. So the thing is that the Amazon algorithm also like makes changes on listings, and different teams can also make changes on listings. I mean, Amazon's internal teams, but some teams are ranked higher than others. and also the algorithm is ranked differently than the teams, and also the seller is ranked differently than all these others. So it actually often can happen is that you make changes, but someone else is actually overriding your changes, or just the changes you're trying to make isn't going through.
Yeah.
And in those kind of cases, like let's say that, well, damn it, I mean, the banned keyword is there and I'm not able to remove it. Then it's just a case of that you seriously need to expedite the thing and start pushing Amazon to remove the keyword from there, because otherwise, I mean, Amazon is gonna hold you responsible for having the keyword there, even though you have already tried doing everything you can to actually remove it. So that's kind of like a funny thing that it also good to keep in mind, that it might actually happen that you have brand registry and everything, but the changes that you are doing are not reflecting on the front end, right?
Yeah, I remember before, Tony, like I reached out to you about this, like I was really forcing you. I know that, we were doing this update and it's not really, reflecting, and we were forcing you to do it. Just do it because you're the admin account. And then, yeah, it went through. We had that experience before. So also it also help, like if the update is not reflecting. So for example, we have like a lot of people in the team, so we have like different user permission. So if it's not going through, you can just go ahead. If you're the admin account on that specific seller account, just do the update yourself. So sometimes it goes through and it can be resolved using the admin account. So yeah, just to add.
Yes. And, I mean, Amazon doesn't want to deal with any kind of legal hassle. So if someone makes this IP claim, whether it's true or not, they still take it seriously and, make it your problem instead. So it might happen, it has happened many times that you get these infringements, but it's not really accurate. But, I mean, this is the rules of the game. So this is just part of it, that you need to play the game right, which means that you just need to do the proper case. You need to build a proper case that, okay, I mean, that there is no such violation occurring or whatever, right? Yeah, I mean, learn from experience, learn from others people experience to really like protect the business. What do you mean with exploring these trademark and patent infringement cases on Amazon?
Okay. So there's like some of the sellers are posting their experiences on there's like I forgot the term, but like a community, a Amazon community. So explore the trademark and patent infringement cases there that they are sharing, that hey, this happened to me and this is what we did. So you can explore in the community. If you have like an Amazon account, of course you have access to the community. So just check on there, like any.
Okay, so you mean the Seller Central forums?
Yes, the forums.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, you can definitely learn a lot from by reading them.
Yeah, and that's also even us, even if we are, selling for how many years already, we are still learning from because Amazon is always changing, and different experiences. So we are also learning from the forums. And if there are some things there that okay, this is just gonna be just a small update. No need to go like extent. So yeah, just go in the forums and visit there.
Yes. And we have a lady there as well. Okay. So what is the conclusion? So, I mean, understanding these different laws, cases, and pretty much just doing these best practices and, mitigating risk, ensuring long-term success, and really, I mean, doing trademarks yourself. Meaning that as soon as you have basically, like some people ask, okay, when is the right time to start filing for a trademark? I mean, basically, as soon as you have some generic name that feels good for to have your as your brand name, and well, typically, I mean, there are like requirements that that you need to have in order to file a trademark for your brand. But anyway, I mean, you will reach the requirement pretty quickly. So what I mean with a generic name is that, let's say that you start selling first some gym equipment or workout equipment, maybe some boxes or like gloves or whatever. So if you have the brand name as Tony's Workout or whatever, okay, well, what happens if you move onto a different category? Like, let's say that you see a good opportunity in pet category, and then you just switch your then you basically switch your whole business to pet category. Well, that's the same, because now you cannot use the old trademark anymore. So it actually makes sense in the beginning, at least, use these kind of like more generic names for the brands, which means that you are easily to move into different categories. So you're not, so it still makes sense, even if you pivot and you do completely different things. You sell completely different products than you did initially. So that's something to take into consideration. Okay, so let's talk about this.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Just on that point about brands, do you recommend having one single brand and selling all of your products under that? Or do you recommend maybe eventually branching out and having multiple brands that are kind of, differentiated into their niches?
In the beginning, it just makes sense to start with one brand and, start building the cash flow and everything. And, because oftentimes we are too optimistic regarding our plans. Like, we are thinking that, I mean, we are going to do this, start a new brand, and now we're going to do the second brand, and maybe let's do even a third brand. But in the end, it might happen that, well, okay, only one of all those like products actually succeeded. So kind of sucks that now we have 3 brands that we don't even need. So it makes so much more sense that no, just stick to one brand. And it doesn't matter, like in the beginning, have everything under that brand, so you don't need to deal with such much hassle. It's just such smoother, simple process, right?
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
So cash flow first, sales first. All right, so maybe actually, Barney, you can go through this step-by-step patent research. Barney.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah.
More. Yeah.
Is this the patent research first, or was it the trademark?
Yes, so this is the step-by-step patent research.
Step-by-step patent research. So as I've mentioned earlier, we also have like a presentation that we found as a resource that you can go through. This is like initial only. This is not like the full process. So just a disclaimer for everyone. It's still best, to check in with the full process on how to do this, and consult a lawyer. Okay, so will you just okay, so identify key features of the product, combine keywords strategically. So you this is actually very important, especially if the product that, let's say, it's not really like the same product that was registered in the patent, but we're dealing with Amazon, especially if you're a new seller. We're dealing with Amazon. They take things seriously. So I would highly suggest that if you plan to release a product such as already has a patent, just be cautious with it, and make sure that when you research on that specific product, you choose like descriptive keywords for online research, like the website will be provided later on. So key features you have to consider, like if it's foldable, adjustable angle, magnetic base, built-in cable organizer, those things that makes the product unique. You have to make sure that you include that in your research when you do your patent research. Please click next, Tony. And
Yes.
yeah, so this is it. And yeah, there. So you can do the initial research on a website like USPTO, the mentioned and Google Patents, and you have just to enter your keywords in the search bar, use the filters like application date. Actually, you can just type in Google and just test it. It will appear. Further research can be done like on those specific website like USPTO. Use filters. Of course, you have to use filters. You have to review the titles, abstracts, and claims for relevant patents if it's like active or not. If it's not active, just make sure you do further research. If no one filed for it, then by all means you can do that. But if someone is doing patent on that and there's a pending application, you have to reconsider. Please next. And yeah, you've mentioned that. And make sure to analyze your research, check prior art for simpler or similar patents, compare patent claims to your product's features. So this is what we have encountered like patent before. So what we did is like we really when we deal with Amazon, we're dealing with Amazon here. We're not dealing with the government, right? So we're dealing with Amazon. We just have to make sure that when you compare your product, the product that you're selling, versus the product that has a patent, provide photos and but like highlight the features that hey in the patent of this specific product it says like it has a curve, the one that we are selling doesn't have one. So you have to be very specific and highlight everything, put it in bullet points like, hey, Amazon, this is what we are selling, and then they're selling this and that. So you have to explain them to them, like what is the difference of your product compared to the one that filed patent. And yeah, but at the end of the day, if there is like an active patent for that specific product, I would highly suggest not to go take that path. Just, consider other products.
Yeah. And actually, one thing to also keep in mind is that you can never ever have like 100%, 100% certainty that there is nothing, because I mean, technically, you could do the research today and okay, go ahead with the product, and then someone files a patent tomorrow. I mean, that could in theory happen, which means that then it comes down to just mitigating risk and you kind of using just common sense in the whole thing, and also just favoring speed above everything else, right? Okay, so step by step trademark research.
Okay, so for the trademark, I actually we have a question earlier with Camry. So you can actually use ChatGPT, but keep in mind that the data is limited up to 2022, if I'm not mistaken, or 2023. So you can go there and then post or paste the full paragraph or the bullet points of your product, and then ask ChatGPT like, hey, from this bullets or from this paragraph, identify the trademark words. So that's how you can do that, like just initial research and identify the brand, especially brand names. Be careful with that. Do not use brand names when you create your listing. So just be very careful with that. Click on next.
Yes.
Yeah, here you can, same USPTO, but also keep in mind that trademark is territorial. So if it's maybe in the USA, it's trademark there and not in the CA. So you can sell the product or use the trademark words, not the product, but the trademark words in the CA if it's not registered there, because trademark is territorial. So when you like search for it, just go to USPTO, especially for sellers in the USA, and then type in the search box, click on search, filter, and review the results, especially if they are like pending trademarks. Just be cautious. and might as well like not go not use it, especially if it's like pending and the process is ongoing. Yeah.
Yes, and it also depends on, I mean, it's also dependent on different categories, which meaning that basically when you file a trademark, you need to specify that what are all the different categories that this trademark is being used. So that's kind of the where the trademark is tied, and especially like typically you get at least these like three subcategories that where what do you want to sell, and in often case like if you have never done this before, then it can be a bit tricky to see that well, what should be the categories. So in those kind of cases, it might make sense to ask someone like ask some expert, ask some lawyer just quickly that, okay, I mean, which are the categories that would actually give me the most coverage? I mean, would actually make sense for my brand, because I'm planning to sell in these and these and these and so on, right? Like right now I'm selling this, and then I'm planning to sell these type of products in the future. So yeah, I mean, that's why you need to review these associated like goods and services. And yeah, one thing is also this visual and conceptual similarity. So obviously, I mean, you cannot be too similar to anyone else, because then it's an IP violation, right?
Yeah.
All right. So copyright research.
Yeah, for the copyright research, basically it's just the same, almost the same with how you do the research with the trademark. You just have to identify your creative work in category, like creative work like phone stand includes, or design includes artistic expression in the shape, pattern. For this one, just be careful in Amazon, because when you upload an image on Amazon, it becomes public. But you can reuse those images. It depends if Amazon would accept the case. But then again, if you miss like a logo, it's there on the image, and then you copy it, you uploaded it in your listing, that's already a violation. So you have to be careful on that. So when you do like initial research, we have like kindly check on click on next, Tony. So they're like same here in the copyright database. Click on next, please. This one here, you can upload it in Google image. Use Google Images search by image feature, upload your design image, like review similar results, noting copyright notices, especially if you are dealing with third-party graphic artists. You ask them that, hey, for this image, for this project, I need you to use images from let's say Canva, or with images with licenses only, because I'm gonna be using this on Amazon listing.
Yeah, this is actually a great advice, Barney, because I mean, let's say that the seller I mentioned before, I mean, if they would have just bothered to do this thing, I mean, upload their listing images that they got from the designer here, they would have avoided the whole lawsuit thing that they ended up getting. So super easy fix. And I can say that, I mean, this was a pretty big seller, and that's also why the rights owner came after them. And in the end, they settled, and I think they paid even like six figures, six figures for the rights owner. So if they had just done this one step, I mean, they wouldn't even need to go through the whole hassle and lose so much money, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and just also an advice, just in case, like, everything happened and you have accidentally uploaded someone else's like work. So what you can do, because at this point we are just dealing with Amazon, not really with the government yet, if they have not really filed case a government level, just file a case through Amazon. What you can do is just delete the image. Tell Amazon that it was uploaded by mistake. Just humble yourselves, and then tell them that, hey, let's say we have a person came in to the team, and that person didn't know. So what we did is, you give them the plan of action. Like what we did, we train them or retrain everyone that this is something that should not be done, and we already deleted the image. Kindly review our listing, and then activate our listing after that. So you just have to make sure that you read the warning and tell Amazon that it's already fixed. And yeah, just accept that you made a mistake.
Yes, number one thing, if you get any IP issues, is to take responsibility, see that did you actually do something, and if you did, then just own up to the mistake instead of trying to hide it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about resolving Amazon issues effectively. So what do we have here, Bonnie?
Okay, so I'm not
issues.
sure if everyone already knows this, but I hope you are already aware that you can go to Amazon Seller Central and check on your account health assurance or account health. You can access this through let's see, one second. You can access your account health in the performance and account health. Click on that. So these are what is showing in the screen is a different violation that, if someone is complaining about your product, like let's say here, first one, suspected intellectual property violation, receive intellectual property complaints, product authenticity, customer complaints. So your customer have the power to complain about your product. So you just have to make sure that you address them the moment that they, send you an email about it, complain about it. And then there's also product condition customer complaints, which is very, very common because not when customers return their product, usually the reason of the return is the product is defective. So Amazon would basically accept it. And then here you are, a seller, didn't know that it happened. Your product is not really defective. Amazon already accepted the reason of the customer. You will receive a warning or a violation that your product is defective. So this is the most common. Other things are the food and product safety, listing policy violation, restricted and product policy violation, customer product reviews policy violation. So these are the types of violation that you can receive. You may if a customer complain about your product or another seller complain about you're selling their product or violating IP. So yeah, please click on next.
Yes. So we already kind of talked about this, like, okay, how to deal with this kind of issues. If you get smacked with a IP violation on Amazon, yeah, I mean, the first thing is to own up to it, like we just mentioned. So carefully analyzing and carefully, I mean, it's not actually only about IP issues, like any kind of issues that Amazon is complaining to you about, like let's say, well, like sometimes they send these emails that, hey, this is a warning, you may or may not have violated some issue or some policies. That's like a kind of like typical way how Amazon loves to communicate. You may or you may not have. So what and this like verification is a classic thing, like Amazon is asking for some like right now I'm just doing this verification inside of a European account, and oh my god, they're asking the same documents like million times. But the way to really get past is that you just need to read the emails that they are sending and really carefully understand, okay, like what are they really asking me, and what are the things that they really want to have, want to get, right? So yeah, I mean, just being professional makes sense, and yeah, I mean, transparent communication during the resolution, and also like Barney also mentioned that really, you know, also communicating to Amazon that you take this issue seriously, and you have already taken some actions, preventive actions, that so that the issue will never happen again in the future, right?
Yes.
And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this one is connected to the solutions and compensations for your customer. So right away, if you know your customer is complaining, especially they leave reviews, like if you can communicate to them, like if they are, you can trace that order and then you can reply to them, offer them refund right away, no questions asked. Because the moment that they return the product, the moment that they complain to Amazon or tell Amazon that, hey, I'm going to return this because of this and that, Amazon will not, ask them of any other question. They will just, accept it. So you have to go above
It's
and beyond.
actually fantastic for the consumer. Like I never realized this before, like moving to California. I didn't realize how easy it is just to return items. Like, let's say that you want to return it. So, I mean, first of all, you have these kind of like booths in all kinds of shopping mall. Like there's an Amazon booth, and you just can go there and take the product that, hey, I want to return this. Then they just tell you that, cool, okay, let's scan it, and boom, I mean, the balance has been given to your account. That's simple. Literally takes like 10 seconds to return a product on Amazon in the US, that is. So yeah. And well, I mean, contacting seller support. Yeah, I mean, they are always so helpful, aren't they, Barney?
It's really frustrating, really frustrating. But at the end of the day, the solution is still with the Amazon seller support. You just have to be pushy. Do not give up right away. Like contact seller support for issues or violation right away. Like the moment that you receive something, contact them right away. Ask them that I need your help. Spend that, or you have to spend time. Like really tell them that, hey, this is what is happening. Provide relevant details and documentations, and you have to have like complete details, like what I have mentioned earlier. Like if it needs to be highlighted, the order ID needs to be highlighted, you have to highlight that. The documentation needs to be highlighted. Like you want to emphasize that, hey, this is the registration number. You have to make sure that you highlight that. And follow up. Do not give up. Follow up until the issue is resolved. And if the issue isn't resolved, open another one. So that's how you actually deal with Amazon seller support, especially if you don't know the cost of the issue, you don't know how to move forward with it, go with, contacting Amazon sellers.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to having the strength to just keep going at it. And I mean, it's similar to the case, like I mentioned, about the missing deposit that we didn't get from Amazon. So Amazon was basically saying, no, we sent it. It's the fault of your bank. And then the bank wise was saying, no, we haven't got it. So it's the fault of Amazon. So I actually, together, me and the team spent probably like months on it. And personally, I also spent like several weeks on just asking information, sending information. But obviously, I mean, this was a payment of deposit of like 15,000 euros. So I also had a bit of an incentive to, make sure that it doesn't get lost. But anyway, eventually, I mean, it was solved. So it just came down to that I just need to have the strength to just keep bugging them and saying, no, here it is, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, providing evidence that it was sent and it was returned and so on. So Oti asked, like, what are your recommendations to apply for a trademark when you are selling mismatched products in a variety of categories? I mean, I would just start with the products that you're basically starting with. So it's fine to, use the same brand for other stuff as well. I mean, technically no, but in the real world, it's fine. It's not such a big deal. And the thing that you want to do is you just want to make sure that the trademark that you have is covering as many categories as possible. I mean, it's also possible to add these classes, subclasses later on, but then that's going to be another like application, and you need to pay another fee for that. So just try to think that, okay, what are the things that you want to focus on right now? What are the things that you are going to release next, and so on. Okay, so Amazon Account Health Associate. Ronnie.
Yeah, this one. This is very important. Again, you can access your account health through performance and then account health. Just click on that. So account health associates, they actually help maintain the health of your account, and you can reach them 24/7. That's like the difference with the support, because support usually like they have like this time, this is the only time that you can call them, or they will reply to your email of after 24 hours or 48 hours. It's different with Amazon Account Health Associate. So they offer valuable insights and support. You can ask them that, hey, these are the documents that I have. What can I do? What is the next step? How can I address this? What can you advise me? You can reach out to them about account issues, and if there are some problems about your account health, you can always call to them. Just click on them, click on the call button, the yellow one. You can see it in your account health, and then make sure that they also provide details, and you can request guidance from them, and they're really very helpful.
All right, and tell us, what is this bin check?
Yeah, the bin check. The bin check, especially if your product is defective. If you receive for example, Amazon reach out to you, hey, you have a complaint that customer is saying that your product is defective. So you can do a bin check. Actually, bin check is not really common practice with other sellers, but I'm sharing you this. We learned this from a lawyer as well, doing bin checks. So what can you do if you receive like a violation saying that your product is defective or your product is expired? You can request for a bin check. Send an email to Amazon, request for a bin check. For a product quality check, you submit a request through Seller Central, and then Amazon will inspect the inventory to confirm product descriptions and assess the quality. They will compare it to your product description and the product on hand. So this is how it works with the bin check. Amazon received a request for a bin check. That's you requesting for a bin check. And then what they will do on the back end is they will locate and assess the inventory, your inventory. So for example, it's in a different warehouse. They will send that message to that warehouse, and then someone will do or visit, check your inventory on the third photo. They will update the records, and then compare the image or the product that they have on hand to the complaints that they received, and then also with your listing. So if they don't see any problems, they will help you resolve the issue. They will send photos of your product, and you can, use that as a proof to Amazon that, hey, my product is not really defective at all. So that's really very helpful when you receive a defective or violation regarding your product quality.
Nice. Then suspensions.
Yeah, so
Appealing.
this is not really easy, not easy at all. So you have to have a lot of patience. You have to prepare, as what you mentioned earlier, prepare detailed, persuasive appeal letter, and you have to have like the patience to work on this and make it as legal legal as possible. Because I remember before when I dealt with this with our account, and then I was telling Victor, like, hey, you have to sign this. We have to make sure that it really looks like legal, because we're not tampering anything. We just want to make sure that Amazon would really acknowledge us. You have to provide evidence, like what are your actions, so that even if the suspension or the restriction isn't your fault at all, you still have to have like a plan of action. So next time, this is what we're gonna do. Because Amazon wants to see that. You have to make sure that you identify the root cause and make sure that you have improvement on that. And if, if everything, if it doesn't work, then, you have to seek legal advice. That's your last resort, but what you can do is just gather everything as much as you can and
Yeah,
talk.
and there are different services that actually provide this as a service, meaning that dealing with suspensions and, especially like if it's a really complicated case, then okay, you might require like legal advice, but in terms of just general like suspensions, I mean, you can get this like suspension help for like a reasonable amount, meaning that it's just gonna cost some hundreds from last time I remember doing it. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, acknowledge, offer, solution, and improve. Absolutely. Always owning up to it. So let's see what kind of tips and tricks we have here.
I think
So,
it's almost the
Ronnie,
same. Yeah, when talking to
yeah,
Amazon support, just clear and concise subject line. Like, do not really just summarize everything. Like, hey, this is urgent. There's going to be a sample in the next slide. So you have to provide all necessary details in one email. Just provide everything. You organize your message, be specific, the action, like what do you want Amazon to do? Ask question if needed, like if they reply to you and it doesn't make sense at all, ask questions. Provide screenshots or attachment and highlight important details. So in the next slide, I think there's one there that I put yeah, it's here. So include terms that expedite your the issue. So summarize the issue. This is like an example only. So the issue, put their issue, payment discrepancy, and order ID number, and then action needed. I want you to investigate and rectify payment proof. So attach invoice dated blah blah blah. Short, simple. You can send it right away. No need to do paragraph of explanation for this
yeah,
one.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't need any stories. That's not the thing. They don't want to hear any stories. They want you to give proof and also see that you own up to it, that you actually take responsibility.
Yeah. So next, yeah, we have already discussed that, talking to Amazon support through calls, attachments, very important. Yeah. And always stay calm when you talk to them, because at the end of the day, you're still talking to people. You're not talking to robots. So they're still people. They have feelings. You just have to stay calm and be professional. And some of them are, they were just newly hired. So you just have to be patient. Just make sure that you tell them what exactly you need from them. And take notes here. This is very, very important. Because this is how I learned to deal with issues. Take notes. Like for example, they mentioned something that is okay. You need to provide this and that. You have to take notes. Everything. Like okay, we don't really do bin checks for defective units. So be creative. Ask them, okay, I don't want it for the defective units. I want to check if it matches the product details. Be creative. If they don't really acknowledge or they don't want to do the things that you want them to do, just be creative on your request. So yeah.
Yes. What does this mean? You have persistence and you give up, or
Generally, when you are dealing with Amazon support through call, through emails, and when you are selling on Amazon, because I tell you, we survived because we were persistent. We didn't give up.
yeah, and one thing is also that you want to be dealing with human beings, and oftentimes, I mean, it might be that some account category manager or whoever advertising people kind of send you these promotional emails, I mean, on their own name. So you can actually also use these contacts to kind of help you with other issues.